Hey, Legal Shield family. This is your servant CEO, Jeff Bell, and I'm here in Mr. Stonesider's office in Ada, Oklahoma, and it's time for 5 Minutes Strong. Today I want to talk about Deep Work by Cal Newport. This is a book that Damian Sheaver gave to me, and I'm very grateful because in it I believe there's some absolute gems that reinforce our 10 core commitments as well as give us those critical assumptions and values that we believe will help you become more successful and happy. Let me review my notes and share them with you. First thing that he says, Mr. Newport, is that today's modern society has room for only 3 types of successful business people. The first one he says is the high-skilled worker. This is somebody like Nate Silver, who does analytics and statistical analysis, and from big data he gleans all kinds of information. Highly skilled, highly paid in consultancy and advisory, even as a journalist. The second one, superstars. I don't know, you might say Elon Musk, he's invented more than one thing. You talk about Peter Thiel, another person who has invented more than one thing. Being able to create more than one company, you're a superstar. The last one are the owners. There's a very famous venture capital firm called Kleiner Perkins. John Doerr would be an owner. David Bonderman, who started the Texas Pacific Group, private equity fund. These people own. And the argument here is that only those 3 groups are going to succeed in our new modern society. Well, I think that's really scary. And I think that Mr. Newport does too. And he says the only way to overcome those 3 groups, and I know I'm not in any of those 3 groups, is through deep work. And so let's think about, what does he mean by deep work? Well, he says that deep work helps you quickly learn hard things. I would argue that deep work is just focus and that you learn important things, not necessarily hard things. He says that your attention is focused tightly on a specific skill you're trying to improve or on an idea you're trying to master. Maybe like 2 exposures every day, by setting goals and creating good habits, by bringing guests every week to our briefing, by having a PBR in your home, by being able to get your team to go to Super Saturdays and to our international convention and leadership conventions, the 10 core commitments. Second thing he says that deep work does is that you receive feedback when you're in deep work so you can correct your approach to keep your attention exactly where it is most productive. Critical here, money-making activities. If at first you don't succeed, try again. Plan, do, check, act. You got to get feedback. You got to get out there and get busy in the business. You only learn through the doing, okay? But when you do it, some things go perfectly well. Other things, you need to do some course correction. That feedback loop helps you get better and better and remain focused and improving on money-making activities. Another point that is shared in this book is that time spent, time's intensity of focus is the key to success. Now let's think about that. The time you spend with the intensity of focus during that time is going to define your ability to be successful. That's the definition of deep work. Another really interesting point that is in this book is that we live in a world of distractions, of distracting behaviors. And the excuses where we have a culture of connectivity. We have a connected lifestyle. Listen, I remember when I was at Microsoft, it was like connected lifestyle, connected entertainment. Look, don't let that be an excuse to follow the herd of lemmings. It's like buffaloes going right over the cliff, man. You've got to focus. It is a life of dependency, not independence, to run your entire day from the inbox of your email or from the news feed in your Facebook. You see, you're dependent on others. You're not independent. You're not free to be an entrepreneur, living free, pursuing your success and happiness. Deep work says, don't be distracted. Remain focused. The principle of least resistance is in this book, and it says that in a business setting, without clear feedback on what is indeed important in being able to succeed through your behaviors, then we tend to reduce ourselves to the easiest task at hand. That's a big idea. The principle of least resistance. If we don't have feedback, I am doing something and I'm making money, that's feedback, my friends. Trust me right now, if you're making exposures and bringing guests and you're holding PDRs and three-way calls, you're going to see the cash register ring. You're going to see your account grow. That's feedback. That's money-making activities. But in the lack of that, if you're not doing the right things and doing them in the right order with the right focus and intensity, then guess what? You don't hear the cash register. Two most important words in our business. Cha-ching! That's what you want to hear. But if you don't have that, what do? We slide into the things that are easiest. Oh, I'll respond to some emails. I'll, check on Facebook, maybe make some comments or post some things. Now let me turn toward what I think a couple of really critical points to bring it home for this 5 minutes strong. Lessons for us. Establish rituals. This is maybe another way of just saying deep work is saying, make sure the simple edge. It's the habits every day. It's the habits every day that you need to focus upon. Where you will work and for how long. Again, don't quit your day job. Start your Legal Shield business at whatever time you give. If it's 15 minutes a day, if it's 15 hours a week, whatever it is, make sure that it's well planned and that it's intense. It's deep work when you give it to Legal Shield. So where are you going to work and how long are you going to work? Write it down. How do you set goals? How do you start the day the right way? Second point, how you will work once you start. Let me tell you, a cluttered desk is like a cluttered mind. Don't have your bills that you gotta pay or other things, maybe your activities for your kids. Get that off the desk. Wherever you're gonna work, be focused, laser focused, intense, deep work on Legal Shield when you give that time. Make sure that it's quiet without distractions. People can't come in and interrupt you. The phone can't ring. Okay, you're not looking at what's going on in social media. Third point, you've got to know how you will support your work. Now, this is important. You got to start with the end in mind. Stephen Covey. I've already said money-making activities prove to be so when you get paid money. Okay? Stay focused. Stay focused. The only money in this business is a member who is satisfied, engaged, and retained. You got to sell the membership. They've got to stay members. That's where the money is. By the way, you make one member and you change their life, but you bring a new team member on and you potentially change thousands of lives. Why? Because they could, in fact, protect and empower thousands of more members, as they also protect and empower more and more team members. Last ideas here. In the book Deep Work by Mr. Newport, he mentions one of my mentors. I had the great honor of studying under Clayton Christensen at Harvard Business School when I was doing an executive development program at Daimler Chrysler. And he talks about the 4 principles of execution, and I want to repeat them again today. Number 1, focus on wildly important pieces of work. Okay? Identify a small number of really ambitious outcomes. This is your why. How more clearly could we put it? Why are you doing this? It's not just about money. What motivates you? Is it our mission? Is it our vision? Is it your family members? Are you doing it for something other than yourself? Second, act on lead measures. You've heard the best. We've heard from all of the Platinums teach. They know that they need to make so many exposures, so many phone calls. They've got to invite and then bring so many guests. They've got to get so many team members to go to a Super Saturday or to a convention. And that's where they break through in the success of their business. Number 3, you've got to keep a compelling scoreboard. You've got to track what you're doing. You've got to, whether it's pen and paper, whether it's using your back office, whether it's using something like Prospect, or whether it's LS Engage, you've got to keep track of what you're doing to know that what you do is driving you towards success. And last but not least is create a cadence of accountability. We talk a lot about having a workout partner, okay? A workout partner that holds you accountable as you in turn help them be better, more successful, and happier. Look, I'll just end with this. All work and no play makes Jeff a very dull boy. Okay, we put the fun in fundamentals, and one of the things you got to understand about deep work that Cal Newport talks about is, hey, if you're going to work hard, if you're going to be intense, you got to make sure that you leave some time for recovery. You don't take a break from distractions. You eliminate them. You take a break from the deep work. You've got to give yourself a chance to recover, to recenter, some quiet time. So pace yourself in terms of where you commit your time to your Legal Shield business, and you will find the success and happiness that you'd like. Folks, my name is Jeff Bell, and trust me, I'm just getting started, because at Legal Shield we know that as we continue to grow together, individually and corporately, that the best is yet to come.